Arc Raiders developer Embark just announced that they're changing how they update the game. Basically, what they're saying is they will not be doing monthly content updates anymore. And the major updates will come twice a year instead of monthly. But the changes will be bigger, larger in scale, more impactful, with the goal to genuinely change how you play the game. Hi, I'm Giemo. A lot of you most probably know me from my Spaceport security videos. Actually, I'm a game designer and game developer with 13 years of experience. I've made PvP, PvE, PvPvE games that millions of people played. I'm here to tell you what Embark actually meant. So, first of all, Arc Raiders is not dead. This is the most basic thing that I wanted to tell you. A lot of people will say that Arc Raiders is dead, Arc Raiders is dying, there's no hope for Arc Raiders anymore, they abandoned the game. No, that's not true. Obviously, content creators will say that because it's a clickbait and it's loud and, it's panic and everybody just clicks to see, whoa, is Arc Raiders really dying? No, it's not dying. It had a phenomenal release, most probably one of the best in the world. Obviously, the numbers dropped from the release numbers, but this is a normal behavior. Only very, 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 very small amount of games can sustain the launch numbers, the big launch numbers, because it's important, because small launch numbers are easy to maintain and then you build on top of that. But that huge launch numbers as our Arc Raiders had, it's very difficult to sustain, and this is normal that the number of players dropped. So what is Embark really saying? They're saying that the current strategy of monthly updates is not working for them, right? So they basically recognize that they cannot sustain the spacing of the updates. They recognize that the community says the updates are not good, that the live ops team, live ops is live operations, so, events, challenges, decks and shops and skins and game mode rotations, etc., obviously will be supported. But the larger content updates will not be monthly. It will instead be twice a year. And the next one will be in October, which is called Frozen Trail, our biggest update yet. They are also saying that there will be a new feature, which is a trader, starting next week, which is good for endgame players like me. I will not be focusing on the trader in this video because I wanted to tell you more about the state of the Arc Raiders and what the team really meant to say. I mean, not exactly what they meant to say, but what I think is going on inside. So, what are they not saying explicitly, but is my interpretation? I think that the team is very tired after the release. This is a very common thing in game development. This is really, it's very similar in many cases. Me and my team had very similar situation, that the release of the game was very, very, very hard and very, very long and really stressful. And after the release of the game, we wanted to keep the pace, update the game very fast, and see the changes, iterate over the changes, update the game, update the content, see the changes, iterate over the changes, etc., etc. But what really happened is that we were so tired that we were kind of disconnected from the game and from the community because of that. And I remember one time we were sitting in the meeting and talking about what we want to implement next and how we want to do it. And there was a question asked by somebody. It was directed to all the designers and developers, not to the quality assurance, which are testers basically, but to the developers and designers. So who is playing the game? And there was a silence. And it's because after years and years of development of the game, when people cannot really rest and reset and have more time to analyze what are the deeper problems, play the game themselves among the other players, maybe start from the scratch, maybe go for expedition and then play among other players. It takes days, sometimes weeks, if you're not good at the game and if you're not playing enough to max out everything, right? And by everything I didn't mean to get all the blueprints, because I didn't even get all the blueprints, and I'm playing this game every day. I have, I think, 500 or 600 hours in a game, and I've never collected all the blueprints because of the expeditions. So what happens is you disconnect from your own product, and if a designer and developer are disconnected, they cannot really make the game good, because how can they if they're not sure whether what they're doing feels right? They can do it from the documents that they're presented to them on paper, but they will not feel whether this is a good direction, bad direction. So the team needs to have their rest. The team needs to have time to play the game, to rest enough so they can come back to the game. Because after that amount of time, the game is really weary, So this is my assumption, that the team really needs their rest and cannot, keep this pace of updates and be able to properly test it themselves and properly feel whether the things that they're making are good or not. And we can see it on the example of CrashMat, right? This is just basically an item that it might be good on paper, but it's totally worthless in a game. Second thing that I think that is going on, but this is not what they said, because they will never say it, is that making it's called 0 to 1 and 1 to n. So making a 0 to 1, so the game from the beginning to the release, is something entirely different than making a game from 1 to n, which is basically supporting a live game. Why is it different? First, you need to act differently in terms of development because of the pipelines. When you're creating the game, you have a lot of room for testing stuff, for good and bad decisions that you can just take back after a while because you feel like this is a bad decision. All right, let's revert it. In terms of live game, it's a lot harder. There has to be a specific pipeline of production and the calendar of stuff, right? The roadmap, which has to be followed. and there's less time for mistakes. But not only that, the other thing is revenue, right? Because premium games like Arc Raiders, which cost say $40, right? They come out and they earn money. And obviously Arc Raiders was a huge, very, very, very huge success. So I'm not saying that the game wasn't financially positive, right? I'm sure it is. I'm sure the developer earned a lot of money because it was a huge success. But the earned money is already earned, right? The fact that they earned a lot of money doesn't really justify a situation that might be happening. I'm not saying it is, but I think it is happening. That the game is now earning less money that the team costs monthly. It is my suspicion because after the initial release, the game is not selling that much because everybody who was interested in the game already bought it. And secondly, the game monetization, I'm gonna be honest here, it is a joke. There's just one shop and couple of skins. They want to keep the style of the skins consistent with the game, which means that the skins are not really super high quality in terms of, premium feel. You don't want to buy those skins. I mean, the newest ones are really good and I like them. But the simple cosmetic economy where there's only a couple of skins and only a couple of character skins and the chicken skins and the emotes with the simple shop is most probably not enough to justify the team that has been working on the game. And therefore, what I think is going on is that the game is losing money. Third thing, the game needs fundamental design changes and not just content stacking, right? They already said that. It's something that we as a community are saying over and over again. We know that the expedition is not really worth it unless you're playing a lot and you're just bored and you have to do it because otherwise you would be extremely bored. The rewards for the expedition are not enough. The items you find have to be more impactful. The skill tree needs a rework, obviously, because it's if you have, say, 20 points, I think, in the skill tree, it's enough, right? Fourth point. This is only my suspicion. I am not sure of it, but I think that Embark might have taken part of the team to, start making another game or start planning making another game. That could be also a reason for slowing down the development. This is something that a lot of companies do after they release a game, because as I said previously, making a game from start to release is something entirely different than supporting a live game. And part of the team might just not be this kind of team. And the last thing that is my interpretation of what's going on is that this October release is going to be very, very important. I think people can wait for a big update, but players will not be okay with Embark if they provide a huge update cooked for half a year and the update is bad, right? So this Frozen Trail will really have to be good. All right, now what does it all mean for the players? First of all, there will be less updates, there will be less content, and less impactful content, and the updates will be rare. So there is a high possibility that the number of players will drop over this period of time. But I'm sure that Embark is hoping that the Frozen Trail will bring a lot of people back to the game. Secondly, and I know people will hate this, there will be other monetization features coming. There's a high chance that there will be Battle Pass coming. There's a high chance that more things will be monetized in a game. But think of it as a way for us players to actively support the game. Because this is not really magic, it's a simple math. If the game doesn't earn money monthly, the developer will not burn money to create content for the game, because it doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? The revenue from the game has to exceed the development cost, the testing cost, the support cost, the publishing cost, ads, community management, anti-cheat systems, servers, etc., right? So I really don't like people hating modern monetization solutions in games, because they think that those bad developers wanna, take tons of money if they can and, not look back. That's not true. It's, as I said, it's a simple math. Either a game is profitable or it's not. And then you decrease the amount of people who work on it. But there is also an upside, obvious. The team will for sure make this update the best update that happened to our creators. So we will all be waiting for the October update, which I am 100% sure is going to be very good and very impactful. They will have enough time to think this through, enough time to play with what they've done, and to provide a polished experience. Now, what all of this means to me and the Spaceport Security series, I will keep uploading Spaceport Security videos and Dev Reacts videos like this one, and maybe possibly in the future more different games will show up on the channel. We will see about that. So thank you. I really wanted to thank you for the great response to my previous video. I love it very much that you really like my content, hearing what I have to say. If you like this, and if you like this kind of videos, please let me know. Please like this video and let me know in the comments your thoughts about this. Just stay safe, Raider. Thank you.